Hi, my name is Shannon Bergman, and I am doing this testimonial for Neil for his Shiva Murti practice, and wanted to endorse him because of just what a big difference he's made in the life of my family. In December of 2019, late December, early January 2020, my husband came down with the first bout of COVID before there was a vaccine, the kind that was killing everyone. And he ended up in the hospital on a ventilator for weeks. And it was touch and go, touch and go. And it got to the point where the doctors couldn't force in any more air into his lungs without damaging his lungs. And his body wasn't getting enough oxygen. His oxygen levels were too low. His heart was starting to work extra hard because he wasn't getting what it needed from the lungs to try to help the body. And I had been in very close contact with these doctors who were absolutely wonderful in keeping me informed without sending me into a panic, even though they were giving me very bad information, very, very scary information. And they basically said that they didn't know what more they could do. They didn't know if he was going to make it because they couldn't, his lungs were trashed. And so I called Neil and I, asked Neil for a Hail Mary or Hail Shiva Murti and explained the situation that, the doctors had told me they didn't know if he was going to make it. And that night, Neil did a lot of work on my husband's lungs and whole body. And so the next morning, I call the doctors and they go, his lungs are clear. His lungs are clear. After all this and all the weeks and with the tube down his throat, it took him a while to get the tube out of his throat, but that was just because he was a cantankerous patient. But his lungs were clear overnight after being at a point where they didn't know if my husband was going to actually live. So that's the power of Shiva Murti. It really is amazing, compassionate. Neil has an amazing sense of where to go to fix the problem. And he saved my husband's life. My husband's here with me today. I'm fully convinced that had it not been for what Neil did that night, that my husband wouldn't have made it. So, thank you, Neil.